Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your hold or two. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently, thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Welcome to ArchRivals Football. Here is your starting lineup. Number 20, Darnell the Playmaker Salads. Number 94, Alex the Bearman Kazzaz. Number 24, Ricky Litwinkowich. This show is sponsored by Raz Energy, DreamControllers.com, and Steiner Sports. ArchRivals Football is a Pain Train Pipe Bomb production. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021, and here we are today, recapping Week 3. Injuries galore throughout the NFL this week. And there is some notable news and notes going on as well. We got on the Bearman, Kazzaz, live on the show this week. Darnell is taking a nap at work, probably.
Sleeping on the job.
So, Bearman, what did you think of Week 3? Give me your take on that.
Well, much like the entire season so far, it's been nothing but a roller coaster of enjoyment and basically shockers, surprises, and, the injury bug. It seems like everybody's being bitten by the damn bug.
Now, let me ask you this, though, okay? So, I'm not saying this is a complete list of people that probably had a tough time during the global bastard, so to speak, a.k.a. the C or the, P word, which we are not allowed to say on the show. Do you think that possibly some of these guys, even though it was from last year, didn't get the training, or is it just that they were probably shelving it from last year?
I don't know, because a lot of players opted out, right?
Yes.
If those players made a decision not to train to blow it off, well, that's their fault. I mean, anything could have happened, but I would have said even if I opted out, I still would have trained every day as if I was playing that week because you want to be prepared because you don't know what the road lies ahead for you.
Well, I will say this as we try to trend once again through the miracles of the interweb. I'm not even calling it internet anymore. I'm calling it interweb
Well, that's
because
a better
the
name anyway.
yeah, it just sounds better, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, it's more catchy.
It does. Wow. And as you can see on the bottom there, we have the sports ticker going on, so there will be news and notes on there throughout the show, I will say. And for whoever else watches this maybe now or later on, because we are on an hour earlier than normal. You know, life takes advantage sometimes, and you need to switch it up a little bit. But I'm actually going to be sharing this out to quite a few people, hopefully. And
As will I. And I gotta be honest, when I wake up on Tuesday and Saturdays, the day we do the show, the second I wake up, I am pumped up and ready to go.
well, that is always a good thing.
Because this is my passion, Ricky. This is my livelihood right here.
Well, we are live currently on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We decided to not do Twitch tonight. Why? Because we're messing up the game thing so far. But eventually we'll get back to that as well. We'll get the gaming going on. And shout out to a lot of the gaming channels that do watch us because they literally tore us up the other day on Saturday sharing the show out. So thank God for them. Like, it has just been one loop after another. I think it's Big Jason Gaming. We're going to be doing a NFL broadcast. He's going to be doing Madden. We're going to be commentating, I should say, on that tournament that he's building. So that in itself really, really should be fun. I actually can't wait for that because, yeah, that should be interesting. But anyway, let's get to some of these games here. We're going to start off the slate with the Indianapolis Colts traveling down to Music City. The Titans, before this game, Indy was 0-2. Titans were 1-1. And the final score for that game is Titans 25, Colts 16. And I will say this. Carson Wentz is a very, very brave man for playing on 2 sprained ankles. Did you? I know you caught a little bit of this game, hopefully.
Yeah, a bit of it. I was actually surprised that Carson Wentz was actually cleared to play, despite, as you said, 2 sprained ankles.
I still want to question how, in your right mind, do you actually sprain both ankles at the same time? That's always going to be a question.
Painkillers, maybe?
I don't know. Like, they say they severely wrapped his ankles, and they said in quotes, severely.
Well, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound safe. I mean, severely wrapped. I mean, if you wrap up too tight, the blood, the blood flow to everything. I mean, I'm not a medical trainer, but I think it's pretty common sense. If it's severely, yeah, that's not good. That's risky.
Yes, but Mr. Carson Wentz did go 19 of 37 for 194 passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Jonathan Taylor did lead the Colts attack with 64 yards rushing, no scores. Going over to the other side of the coin, however, I believe King Henry has been tired of being stagnant throughout games this year. Ryan Tannehill only had 3 more yards passing than Mr. Dual Ankle Sprains. Went 18 for 27, 197, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. King Henry, 28 carries, $113. It was a crazy, crazy day, but it was good to know that we got King Henry back on track, so to speak. Titans 100%. Titans do go to 2-1. The Colts are now at 0-3. And welcoming in the crew. The guys are here. They have showed up. Mr. Stephen Waldman, the head of the Pain Train Pipe Bomb Productions Army, has arrived here, along with Bernard Young, What's up? We got Big Jason Gaming in here as well. Guys, please do us a favor. Do like you did on Saturday. Blow up the chat. Share the show out. Because we are not only still trending on Facebook and Instagram, but all of our other shows now are starting to trend on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So if you have all of that lovely social media, please pipe bomb it. And I will say that for our audio listeners that listen to it, that I put quotation marks on pipe bomb. That's what we do. Jason Rodriguez, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
Guys, you know the deal. When I get on, I pop you guys, pop into your streams and try to hang out for a little bit. It's been just massively crazy the last 5 weeks, so thank you very much. Nicole Rodriguez too. Thank you. Much appreciated.
You're amazing too, Jason. So are you, brother.
So I'm going to now pose this question. I posed it last week to you, and then we'll move on to the next game.
Alrighty.
How big of a trouble deal is it now for the Indianapolis Colts being 0-3?
Well, being 0-3 does not feel good because I'm taking a look at the standings right now. Okay. And being 0-3, but the fact that they're 0-3 and they're still technically not in last because of the Jaguars, it still doesn't really help. Even though, but I don't know what the bigger problem is. The fact that they're 0-3 or the fact that they're starting quarterback, again, 2 sprained ankles and he's still out there playing. Because let me ask you this. If he's playing with 2 sprained ankles, doesn't that increase the significant risk of these injuries just being worse?
Again, they said, quote, severely sprained and then severely wrapped.
I mean, there you go, because they're not going to make anything official. I mean, this is just a dead end. That just makes the risk even greater because we don't know just what the hell is going on. So the Colts are not telling us, so something fishy's going on. So the Colts are a freaking mess, dude.
I don't think it looks good. I don't think it's... But then again, you know what? I'm going to bring back a little bit of a history lesson to everybody. There's this team. It's not the one with the big star, but they have a bull for a logo. The Houston Texans, a few seasons ago, started off 0-3 and won, 7 or 8 straight? I'm not saying...
I think was it 2015? No, I don't think so.
I'm not saying that that's going to be an anomaly at any point, that the Colts are going to go on a 7 or 8 game winning streak at this point. However, we did kind of mention in the beginning, though, that there were reasons why we thought that the Colts were going to be in trouble, and most of that was the fact that they don't have Ty. Again, that's a major concern. I don't think offensively they're doing good, and as much as we wanted to rave about their offensive line, it's trash. Like this next game that we're going to talk about.
Right?
The Atlanta Falcons traveling to MetLife Stadium out in New Jersey, swampland. Both teams go into the game 0-2. A 3-second last-minute field goal by Mr. Koo, who had never had a go-ahead or game-winning field goal in his kicking career, puts the lowly Atlanta Falcons up 17-14 to win. Giants defense, horrible. They probably can't stop the common cold at this point. I know, Steven, you don't want to hear it, but we have to talk about it. The Atlanta Falcons are now 1-2. The Giants are 0-3. And foolishly enough, like an idiot, I will say this live, quote it, write it down, record it. I regretfully took the Giants knowing they were retiring Eli Manning's jersey at halftime of this game. That could have been so apropos for them to actually win a game. And they sucked themselves into a sewer or a swamp like the alligators that are on the screen currently right now. Alex, who did you pick in this game, by the way?
I picked the New York Giants, but now I'm really asking myself, how the hell could you do this? But I don't even know how the hell, like, really, the Giants could have won this game. I felt they could because Atlanta's defense being so poor. But like you mentioned, because the Giants' defense is so poor. But with the Giants, it's the offensive play calling is just so horrible, okay? And everybody's saying that. I'm just saying that because I don't like Jason Garrett. Like, no, Jason Garrett, whether you like the guy or not, he is awful, okay? Yes, he's stuck in the old school conservative 1990s play calling, and he's just refusing to get with the freaking program, okay? And check this out. I've done some research on my own, and this is actually thanks to a source that I follow on Twitter. Here are where the Giants rank offensively since Jason Garrett became the offensive coordinator. And believe me, Ricky, you want to hear this. Shall I go ahead and proceed?
I say you should let them have it.
32nd in yards to go on third down. 31st in points per game. 31st in explosive pass plays. 30th in points per drive. And 28th in yards per play.
That doesn't sound good at all.
I mean,
it doesn't.
To quote my co-host on Cowboys Talk, it is disgraceful, repulsive, repugnant, and flat out fraud.
All I know is that what I have coined the term for games that really don't get the ire of attention. Now, fans, listeners, people, lend me your ears. This game here was not a highlighted game for us on Saturday. We spent a total of 3 minutes and 42 seconds talking about it. This is what we call the bruised peach game. There were many bruised peaches walking out of MetLife Stadium on Sunday, and the only positive that came out of it was Eli's jersey retirement, and then Peyton making fun of him about it on Monday Night Football. But yeah, that was the only glam moment for Giants fans on Sunday.
You want to talk about something Mr. Stephen Waldman didn't want to hear? Stephen, I hate to say this, but here's something else I got to say, and this is the injury report as far as the Giants go. Shall I proceed, Ricky?
Go for it.
Well, thankfully, at least start with something positive. Saquon Barkley got hurt, but he did come back in the game. Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton both suffered hamstring injuries, okay? And Blake Martinez out for the season with a torn ACL.
And I believe there was also a Falcons injury throughout the game, too. I'm just double-checking to make sure. Because, there's
it seems like in this game,
defensive end...
The Giants really got the shit end of the stick.
And then defensive end Marlon Davidson also got hurt throughout the game. And was ruled out. He got hurt, messed up his ankles or something like that. I will say this. Welcome to Robert Lintz, Seahawks fan. We're going to be getting to them in a little bit. Nicole, I'm seeing a lot of fields are horrible throughout the NFL. That's just the way I look at it. Next game, which is a upset special. The Kansas City Chiefs hosting the I was going to say San Diego. They will always be forever San Diego in my head.
At heart, yeah. San Diego.
Yes, because the original powder blue uniforms and LaDainian Tomlinson will always be from San Diego.
Yes. LaDainian Tomlinson, TCU, baby.
So the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Chargers on Sunday afternoon. And yes, this was an upset. 87% of fans or bettors actually picked the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes now falls to 11-2 in September. Chiefs have 4 critical turnovers in this game. I will say this. The Chargers did look really, really good this weekend. I believe this was a shootout. This game had the over. Chargers also took the spread and covered. And we might be seeing a few difficulties here for the Kansas City Chiefs.
How many times have I said this about Justin Herbert? Because Justin Herbert, 26 for 38, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns. The dude is pretty freaking good, but a lot of people just don't want to give him the credit because he's only in his second year. This is why I say I don't give a damn whether he's in his second year. The dude is good, and he's only going to get better because the future is bright. He's got major potential. Okay, and I'm sorry, I had to get this off my chest because I'm still told that I'm overhyping on Justin Herbert, but you know what? Yeah, it's like you say, Ricky. An opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one, right?
Yes, this is true. However, though, I understand. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of a recall in history here. Herbert was apparently meant to be the quarterback of the LA Chargers. I know stupidly the Chargers somehow last year punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. Herbert came in. Granted, their special teams were horrible last year, but Justin Herbert, rookie of the year in my eyes, was very, very good last year. And this year, I think he's progressed enough that he's going to start to become part of that young quarterback elite level that everybody's really looking for. Again, last year these two teams split. This year, Chargers take the first one. They go to 2-1. Chiefs fall to 1-2. And I'll pose the question to you now. Even after the signing of Josh Gordon, who passed his physical, has been reinstated into the NFL, your outlook on the Chiefs?
Well, it's very difficult. Knowing that the Chiefs, it's bad enough for them. That's 2 consecutive heartbreaking losses that could have been avoided. And as far as the Chiefs go, I mean, the fact that they were outscored 16-7 in the fourth quarter, I mean, that's pretty freaking embarrassing.
Again, turnovers galore for the Chiefs is their
turnovers
problem.
Galore, yeah. Turnovers galore. Because you see, I don't want to steal your thunder from that, but moving forward, the Chiefs, the schedule, upcoming schedule, they play Philadelphia, but then they got to play the Bills at home. But I don't think they should panic yet. I mean, I'm sure that they could turn things around. I mean, they got a great coach, they got the talent. The defense is a bit concerning, but as far as the Chiefs go, look, move on from it, learn from it. I mean, don't be stuck in the past. Set your sights on the future, because if you're stuck in the past, that's what makes things worse. That's all I can say.
Again, the problem that I see with the Kansas City Chiefs is, and Kurt is jumping on right before he's doing high school sports over at the K&K. Shout out to those guys. Him and his wife, Jenny Hoops, does an amazing job on high school sports. They are live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter as well. You got a chance after this show, pop over there, go check them out. Kurt's like another brother that's just building, but they're all in high school sports, absolutely off the chains.
I covered high school sports one time. I've been there,
and I do agree with Kurt, because the issue is this: Kansas City has not been able to ever stop the run ever. That has always been their Achilles heel. I believe since Andy Reid got there. Yeah. I mean, they do have Steve Spagnuolo at the defensive coordinator, but even still, he cannot fix that defense. It's like a plumber trying to fix a simple leak, and he can't figure out that he forgot to use the plumber's tape on the threading of the pipe. That's the problem, okay? They just can't stop the run. And teams are just going to completely pound the ball on them every week they come out. And if you look at the offensive rushing stats for them, Austin Eckler had 55 yards on 11 carries. Herbert had 16 on 4 carries. I mean, granted, they didn't give up any rushing touchdowns, but Kansas City not looking good on defense whatsoever. And to have 4 turnovers like that on offense, what is going on with that? Andy Reid should be trying to fix that leak as well.
Well, speaking of Andy Reid, I was glad to see that he was okay after he was staying in the hospital after the game. You're right. The problem is when you have a defense that can't stop the run, and then that makes well, the longer that goes, the more the Chiefs struggle, the more it emboldens other teams to just keep running the ball, especially teams that are good at running the ball. But as far as the Chiefs goes, I can only hope they turn things around, because especially with everything that they got going on. But I as a as our friend Jason said, it's pretty unclear where the Chiefs could go because anything could happen. It could go either way. I mean, the hands are tied in this situation.
All I know is that the Chiefs are going to have a quote 1994 big hill to climb, knowing the fact that the Chargers and the Denver Broncos are now ahead of them by, I believe, 2 games. So that should be very interesting to see. Okay. Another game where I really thought I really should have taken my head and slammed it into a car door. We had the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Bengals, Steelers, final score, Bengals 24, Steelers 10. Bengals go to 2-1. Steelers drop to 1-2. And the Steelers were a home favorite by, I believe it was 3 points. If you want to double check that number.
I sure will. I actually got the notes right here from last week. And I gotta, Ricky, you gotta say it. I'm the only one that picked the Bengals. It was actually by 4. No, it was Pittsburgh by 4.
Okay, so either way, I believe now, as much as I want to love Pittsburgh's defense, okay, their offense, which I thought would be a little bit more stout throughout this game, it's not good. Deontay Johnson didn't play. He hurt his knee toward the end of the game last week. That was a potential loss. I know James Washington filled in, but I don't think he's a significant of enough of a fill-in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben did throw the ball 58 times. Yes, I said 5-8. 58 times. Completed 38 of those for 318. A touchdown, 2 picks, which is never good because if you are not winning the turnover battle, you should not be winning games. They only had 2 players rush the ball throughout the entire day, apparently. Najee Harris, 14 carries for 40 yards. Big Ben, 1 for 5. Receiving-wise, Najee Harris did have 14 catches for 102. Chase Claypool, I can't even talk tonight. Chase Claypool, 9 catches for 96. Juju got hurt in this game. He did get ruled out at some point for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Rib injury.
We also had throughout this game, let me just scroll down here on my listing of people who decided to visit the Blue Tent, which apparently was a great spot for everybody. Juju did have rib injuries and tackle Chukwuma Okafor ruled out with a possible concussion.
Uh-oh.
So that was not good for them. We also had injuries on the other side, which I will say I could probably be a little bit more impressed with the Cincinnati Bengals at this point. Joe Burrow only had to throw the ball 18 times, 14 completions, 172, 3 scores and a pick. But Joe Mixon picking up the slack, 18 carries, 90 yards, although he did not visit the land of gold on the other side of the big white line. Joe Burrow did have 5 rushes for 7 yards. And leading receiver for the Bengals, Jamar Chase, the man who said everybody can't catch the ball, caught the ball 4 out of 5 targets for 65 yards and 2 scores. Bearman, give me your outlook.
Well, get this. Joe Burrow was not sacked in this game, while Big Ben was sacked 4 times. And Pittsburgh, less than 50 yards rushing. Cincinnati averages, I can't talk either. Averaging 6.4 yards per play, while Pittsburgh limited to 4.4 yards per play, even though Pittsburgh had more total yards than Cincinnati.
And the only significant injury that Cincinnati did have was cornerback Chidobe Azui.
Awuzie.
Yeah,
Awuzie.
Some of these
Cowboy.
names. Like I will say this. There was a quote the other night on I think it was NFL on Fox. And Terry Bradshaw couldn't announce half the names on the thing. He said he practiced them like 20 times. Couldn't say the
some of these names are just impossible. I mean, if you think it's hard in football, I mean, look at soccer. It's soccer. You have all those names. They're just impossible to freaking pronounce.
So,
but it's a Cheeto Awuzie. He's the former Cowboy. I believe it was a knee injury. If I'm correct.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. It's a groin injury.
He ain't gonna have any for a week or so, dude.
They both hurt. Groin injuries hurt.
All right. here is where I was supposed to have a rant on the show. The Chicago Bears go to the Dog Pound to visit the Cleveland Browns. Final score, Cleveland 26, Bears 6. Browns go to 2-1. The Bears 1-2. And a certain somebody who I have been ranting and raving on the entire season, preseason and regular, started the game for the Chicago Bears. That would be a Mr. Justin Fields. And, yeah. Where was Nick Foles? Because Mr. Justin Fields had 20 pass attempts, only completed 6, 68 yards passing. I think my 6-year-old nephew can throw the ball better. David Montgomery, 10 carries, 34 yards. Leading receiver for the Chicago Bears. Embarrassing. Allen Robinson, 2 catches, 27 yards. David Montgomery, 2 catches, 21 yards. Cleveland pretty much man-spanked the Chicago Bears. And I'll let you talk a little bit about this game before I go off on the rant on Justin Fields.
All right. 9 freaking sacks by the Browns defense. Myles Garrett out of Texas A&M, 4.5. I believe that's a record. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's something I don't understand. It said that Justin Fields had 68 yards, but now it says total team stats that there's only 1 passing yard from the Bears. Can you clarify? Is there something I'm missing?
For what?
Well, I don't know, because it says the stats that Justin Fields had 68 passing yards, but now team stats says there's only 1 passing yard total from the Bears offense. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, that would probably be all of the yardage lost on the sacks.
Okay, probably. I mean,
but if you only have 1 yard,
47? If you 47 total yards, I'm like, what the fuck? And it's no wonder you want to rant.
Okay, so here's the rant, because Darnell wanted me to do this while he was at work.
Well, whether he wants it or not, this is the game that you might as well do it, Ricky.
Okay, so here's my rant on Justin Fields. Okay, did he not quote during the preseason that the game was too slow for him? Do I remember that vaguely from what was that week 3 of the preseason?
I believe so.
Okay, Mr. Justin Fields, I think you need to take those fogged glasses off and realize what you did in the preseason isn't close what you're going to get in the regular season, my man. Maybe that hit to the head that popped his helmet off kind of shook his jelly beans around in his brain. Look, I understand this NFL draft that we just had a ton of guys going in the first round of the NFL draft, okay? Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, okay? All I want to say is this. There are some rookie quarterbacks that should potentially be sitting on the bench, a.k.a. Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. Why? Because, yes, I understand the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton, was slated as their starting quarterback this year. He has the most experience out of the 3, okay? Andy Dalton goes down with a knee injury. Why do you want to punish the brand new shiny toy? You know the Chicago Bears have not had a viable offense. I'm going to say this name. Since Jay Cutler. That's going back a distance, okay? Jay Cutler's been out of the league 5-6 years already. And they have not had anything viable since. And I'm not even mentioning Mitch Trubisky because he is a ghost somewhere. I believe he's in Philly or some shit like that.
I think he's in Buffalo, I believe.
Oh, even Buffalo, he's still going to be hiding behind the weeds. Okay? Look. Justin Fields is not the answer currently. You have 2 experienced quarterbacks. They should be playing. They are going to be the ones that at least are going to get you more than 6 completions per game. They are going to get you more than 60-plus yards passing per game. They are not going to turn the ball over as much or get sacked as much 9 times. Okay? We already saw one game earlier this year where Arizona went off, where Chandler Jones had 5 sacks by himself. Justin Fields needs to sit the pine. He needs to sit there and learn the NFL game because with the experience he's already had, it's not good.
No.
He didn't do good in relief last week. He didn't do good starting the game this week. Okay?
It's like you said, Ricky, and I don't know how many people couldn't understand. Like, you made it clear he's not ready.
He needs to sit and stop playing with the PS5 joystick or anything else. What's up, Travis? How's it going, my man?
I mean, there was even more. Look at this: 6 first downs, 1 for 11 on third down efficiency.
Not good. But Cleveland does stay up in there in the top of the I believe that's the North Division. Up there with the Baltimore Ravens, which we'll talk about in a few seconds. Because Baltimore traveled to Motown to visit the 0-2 Lions. This game ends up being a 19-17 victory for the Baltimore Ravens, who win it on a last-second 66-yard bounced football off the uprights for a win where the Baltimore Ravens were winning the majority of the game. And the Ravens now go to 2-1. The Detroit Lions are at 0-3. But I will say this about the Detroit Lions, okay? With the exception of the Green Bay game, they have been in every game this year. They are at least showing some bloody potential to be not a pushover team, I would say, because, yes, they did score 33 against the 49ers. Again, week 1. They did score points against the Jekyll and Hyde Green Bay defense. And now Baltimore was shutting them out at one point where, yeah, you know what? Those pesky, and I mean pesky, Detroit Lions did show up for a change. I will give you that. They did show some potential there. What do you got, Alex?
They did show, and I saw that kick with my very own eyes, Ricky. Justin Tucker is obviously a guy I'm very familiar with because, as you know, I'm a lifelong fan of the Texas Longhorns and the TCU Horned Frogs. So Justin Tucker, I know the guy. He's always been a good kicker, even dating back to his years in college. And now he could proudly say he has kicked the longest field goal in history. But when I saw that ball hit the upright, I thought it was not going to go through, but it did. It hit the upright, bounced in. I mean, there was no better way for that moment, that historical moment, to be officially written in the goddamn NFL history books. I mean, can you think of a better way for that to happen? I mean, I can't. I cannot for the life of me.
Listen, I will say this, okay? So Baltimore's defense, who did have 4 players go on the global bastard list before the game, okay? And it kind of definitely showed in the second half. Baltimore shut them out, was up 10-0, and give up 17 points in the second half. This is why, as much as we want to down the Detroit Lions, at some point, they are going to break through. Now, there is the news today that they could not trade linebacker Jamie Collins, so they have released Jamie Collins. I hate to say it, as much as I really don't want to put stock in Jared Goff, his numbers were not horrible. 22 of 30, 217. Their run game is not exactly the best. They rushed for a total of 93 yards through this game, so they had somewhat of a decent balanced attack. I still kind of question now what is really the Ravens' identity now. I can understand that the Ravens had that big win against KC last week. They kind of did crap the bed the first week. But Ravens is still in somewhat contention. Again, I really got to say, this is going to be one of those teams that we really just don't know what their identity is. Now, again, defensively, the Ravens are killed from the global bastard by a lot of points. But, yeah, I mean, Jekyll and Hyde for this Ravens team.
What's sad is the fact that I believe it was a 4th and long that the Ravens converted to actually set up the game-winning field goal. I mean, that stings. That really stings.
I will say this. Again, I can't knock the Detroit Lions. Can we always put a check mark possibly for an upset with them? I believe so at some point down the line. I really, again, I can't knock them. I know their management, their GM suck, and I probably could do a better job. Somebody give me the Detroit Lions job, because I could probably make that team a lot better and do things where the team could get better. But if somebody actually does get me that GM job, I definitely tell you I can get the Detroit Lions at least 5 wins every year. But yeah, the Ravens go to 2-1. Detroit drops to 0-3. Once again, just kind of crazy. All right, now I get to scream about my own team.
Oh boy,
New Orleans Saints. Finally, their last road game, go up to Gillette and face the Patriots. The Patriots were 1-1. So were the New Orleans Saints. Final score 28-13 Saints. Saints go to 2-1. Pats drop to 1-2. We'll talk about the Week 4 game on Saturday. I will say this, okay? The Patriots are having issues stopping the run, and their offensive line is in shambles. Injuries galore. Patriots lose James White to a season-ending, I believe, hip injury. They did go out and bring in some running backs, free agent running backs, to possibly fill the spot. They're battered with injuries all over the place, offensive and defensively. The Saints did show me something. However, again, they gave Mac Jones a pass rush galore. I don't understand why there wasn't a better scheme for the way it goes. Patriots are they're not statistically good in September, but I will say, and again, I'm gonna go over to the New Orleans side and say that again, Jekyll and Hyde for Mr. Jameis Winston.
I knew this was going to happen. And last week, I believe you and we both picked the Saints, didn't we?
No, I took my team because I had more faith in my team.
Okay.
But I did regretfully try to turn it off and got yelled at in the fourth quarter. So I ended up taking the beating for the whole game.
Well, you know what? At least you're honest. You know what? So people have to praise you for your courage and your bravery because you're honest. But anyway, unfortunately, I mean, you know, Mac Jones, 270 yards, 30 completions, 3 interceptions, and 1 touchdown. And compared to Jameis Winston, who only had 13 completions out of 21 attempts for just 128 yards but 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, really had that 89-yard game on 24 carries, and Taysom Hill, I think, scored that rushing touchdown. And actually, Kamara also had that receiving touchdown, but.
Well, my outlook is, and I will throw this out there to the fans, because I really thought in the offseason this was a great free agent signing. My question is, what is wrong with Jonnu Smith that he can't catch the ball? A, because 2 of the pass attempts to Jonnu Smith were picks. The one that started off the third quarter, Malcolm Brown picks one off of Jonnu Smith's hands, runs that back for a pick 6. There is something wrong with Jonnu Smith. Either that or he has not grasped the offensive play calling. That's a very, very big question. And as much of a beating as it was, I mean, Mac was going to have a bad game at some point. He was doing well up to this. And my other question is, do you possibly see the reuniting of the Patriots and Jamie Collins?
if it works, if it could work, then I don't see why not. But I should ask you this because you as a Patriots fan, like, would you be willing, like, would it be okay in your book?
Well, think of it this way, okay? So Jamie Collins is going to get paid by the Detroit Lions, okay? Belichick goes and gets Jamie Collins. Guess what he gets Jamie Collins for? The league minimum.
Right.
Jamie Collins not only gets to play because he got sat for Sunday's game because they were trying to trade him, and he still gets the money from the Detroit Lions. Why would you not take him up on that offer? If you have issues stopping the run, what was one key cog the Patriots have had the last few years to fill the middle? Jamie Collins. That totally brings back the full list of the boogeymen from before the global bastard period. That would be scary if you could somehow go out and sign Jamie Collins. That defense just becomes even bigger stacked. And to quote Jason Rodriguez about the Jimmy G and the Patriots thing, not happening. Not happening. And the reason why is this, okay? As much as they don't want to put stock in Stidham, they still have him. He's on, I believe, the IR with a rib injury. But it's you have not heard Stidham's name in a long time. So there's something going to fester with that. Patriots would have not wasted a 15th first-round pick if they didn't want Mac Jones. He is their QB of the future, currently right now. And as much as everybody goes to shun Brian Hoyer about being there, that's possible. If you really want to talk about the name that now the price is coming down on, look to Houston. Look to Houston and look at Deshaun Watson. Because that, my friends, has been a party waiting to happen. But if it comes down to the draft picks the way that they want it, Deshaun Watson probably will not be in South Florida. He will be up in Massachusetts, drinking beers at Cheers with Norm. That's the way we're going to look at that.
That's the best way to look at it, honestly.
All right. Arizona went down to Florida, Jacksonville. Final score, Cardinals 31, Jacksonville 19. Cardinals go to 3-0. Jacksonville 0-3. Bearman, how's that new shiny toy that Urban Meyer's got going there?
Well, still not too bright, but I mean, as far as Jacksonville goes, I mean, aside from that, not pick six, I'd rather call it a kick six because that's what it was. The kick six. I mean, other than that, I don't know exactly what there was to talk about that's too positive as far as the Jaguars are concerned. I mean, the Jaguars actually at one point looked like they could have pulled it off, but Cardinals said, nope, not happening. Because the Cardinals outscored the Jaguars 24-6 in the second half.
Again, now, a lot of people thought this game was going to be a runaway. Okay? I believe the Cardinals were favored by 8.
Yeah.
And that's not even looking at the paper. I think the Cardinals crapped their pants in this game. I will say that a lot of diaper companies were probably going to visit Jacksonville because everybody was like, oh my God, what's going on with the Arizona Cardinals early? And maybe it's because they were not indoors or they're not used to the Jacksonville heat because I believe it was like 85 degrees there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Arizona looked prematurely human at some points till the second half. And then Kyler Murray got it going. The run game got it going early. The defense finally woke up from their mid-noon nap, and they got it going. Again, there have been articles stating that maybe Trevor Lawrence should be sitting the pine, so to speak. I'm sorry, but when you bring in a Jaguar to be a Jaguar, and he becomes like a Toyota Camry, Yeah, that may not be the greatest idea for Trevor Lawrence, which was a big mistake why they traded away Gardner Minshew. I don't know. Jaguar fans are up in arms. Why are we destroying this kid so early? And I'll be honest, I think they are. He may have an NFL pedigree, but not right now. AKA Justin Fields. So I will say that. But again, this was not a game that we really focused on because everybody was like, oh, Cardinals are blowing them out. Nope. Sorry, that didn't happen. Only a 12-point win. Next up.
Cardinals, they had a pick 6 in this game, didn't they?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of shifted the game back into their favor.
Again, I'll say this. I don't think Urban Meyer goes anything further than this year in Jacksonville.
Probably not.
You might want to write that one down.
I've got it charted, so yeah, Urban Meyer doesn't go farther than that. All right.
All right. We go up north. Semi kind of fight game going on here. We had the Washington football team who stole the Washington College logo, the W, going up to Buffalo, Orchard Park, to visit the Buffalo Bills. Bills win 43-21. Bills 2-1, leading the AFC East. Washington falls to 1-2. My question to you, Bearman, what has happened to the WFT defense?
Well, for the last 2 weeks, I warned about this. I warned that because after what happened to them against the LA Chargers, because that defense against the Chargers got lit up. If this continues to happen, it's going to be revealed that the Washington defense, as tough as it was, it's going to begin to crumble. And what we saw against the Bills, it couldn't be more clear. Because as I'm looking at the total stats, 481 yards, and I believe this is not the first time this year that the Washington defense has allowed close to 500 yards. I think that's at least twice they've allowed between 400 and 500. It might have been every game, I'm not sure. But the Washington defense is now beginning to be a cause for concern, and it doesn't seem like it's going to recover. But other than that, I mean, Tyler Heineke in this game, we have to give him credit for one thing, because the Bills had that 21-0 lead, and I believe it was in a 3 or 4 minute span. It was 21-14, and Heineke had that rushing touchdown, and then he had that beautiful throw. And then it just went downhill. I mean, it got so bad that I kind of describe Tyler Heineke as basically he's a David and he's fighting 10 Goliaths. That one, he's got a stone in one hand, he's got the stick in the other, he's fighting 10 Goliaths. I mean, he's overwhelmed. I mean, he's probably more overwhelmed than the Washington defense.
I will say this, at this point, I am glad that Ryan Fitzpatrick is out, because he would have gotten annihilated by this Buffalo defense.
I mean, you're probably right.
And on a great day, like it was on Sunday, Buffalo was great on both sides of the ball. That I can give you. And as much as everybody really wanted to say that it was a one-hit wonder last year, I'm sorry. But I will tell you this. Josh Allen, he actually may be the real deal this year. He is just picking it up from the way it was last year. What's up, Jonathan? Everybody wanted you to watch the show. That's why they tagged you, my man.
Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
And if you don't want to be here, it's cool. You popped in, gave me 3 seconds. I'm okay with that. But we are talking football for the rest of the night. For probably about another half hour. Mitchell Trubisky actually threw a pass in this game, only for 1 yard, but he threw a pass.
Well, at least he threw a pass, and it was something positive, right?
And I will, yeah, at least it was a positive, and it wasn't a turnover or a sack, which was,
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, listen, Buffalo again looked very, very complete in this game, and Jonathan, I will get to that. I have a rant for you. Believe me on this. I have a rant. Bearman is ready to take his beating. Okay? It is coming up. We will be there in a few minutes. All right? All I can say is that at this point right now, Buffalo is going to be carrying the load. They were predicted to be the division winner in the AFC East followed up by Miami, which we're going to be coming up to them in a few minutes as well. However, we are taking a trip to Denver. I really do want to go to Denver, by the way. This is on my list of stadiums to go to. I probably will die because it is mile high air. But we had the 0-2 at the point. New York Jets, just end the season. Traveling up to Bronco country against the Denver Broncos. Broncos shut out the New York Jets 26-0. Now tied with the LA Chargers for the division in the AFC West. This game here maybe should have not even been played. The Jets should have just waved a white flag before they even walked into the stadium.
Just end the season.
Exactly, just end the season. 3 weeks in. They probably should have just ended the season before week 1 even started. I will say this, though, that this is another team where potentially they should have brought in a veteran quarterback. And Zach Wilson is taking a beating.
Royal beating.
Okay? He is taking it won't even show me the passing stats for Zach Wilson. How about that?
I got him.
Yes, give me the passing stats for him, please.
19 for 35, 160 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
There were a lot of injuries in this game. The Denver Broncos end up losing a wide receiver. I don't remember his name. Give me a second.
KJ Hamler.
Yes, KJ Hamler. The Jets ended up losing Corey Davis a few plays into the game, and then they brought him out for a hamstring injury. As much as I want to put some faith in this Denver team, and I know Kurt's now not listening because he's doing All in Sports, I do not have faith in the Denver Bronco offense right now. Coming out and saying it. Yes, they put a shellacking on the New York Jets. However, I don't have any faith in the Denver Broncos in their offensive game right now. Defensively, yes, they are pound for pound one of the best defenses that I can see in the NFL currently right now. But offensively, I don't believe that they are they're good right now. They are banged up.
And for Denver.
Yes.
Well, as far as Denver is concerned, and my co-host on Cowboys Talk said this because everybody's kind of overhyping on the Broncos, and I mean no disrespect to Kurt, but because my co-host would ask me, who have the Broncos beaten this season that's worth anything? I mean, the Broncos beat the Giants, they beat the Jaguars, and they beat the Jets. Now that is true, but in your case, I mean you're right. I mean the injuries are piling up. In my case, I would need Cortland Sutton to keep having good games because he's on my fantasy lineup. But either way, I mean, I have bad luck in fantasy football, so I'll just lose, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, the way you say it, you're right. I mean, KJ Hamler hurt, and they still got Melvin Gordon, but it's one man. So,
and Bronco fans that are currently listening, get your tissues together, get your paper towels, get your bath towel together. Just remember that through the first 3 weeks of this young NFL season, the combined record of the 3 wins that the Broncos have beat are 0-9.
Mm-hmm.
0-9. So, I might want to pump the brakes, put an egg underneath the gas pedal, because the Broncos, again, played 3 teams that do not have a win currently this year. That may be a tough thing, but somebody needs to go get some extra strength bubble wrap for Mr. Zach Wilson because he's being tortured. Homeboy's gonna have welts throughout the next off season.
I mean, the dude's a punching bag he's a punching bag for God's sake.
All right, this is one of the games that I had quoted as highlight game of the week. Miami Dolphins, 1-1, top defenses in the NFL, traveled to Vegas, the black hole. Raiders, Dolphins. This was a good game.
It was.
It was a good game. Final score in overtime, Raiders 31, Dolphins 28. Dolphins at the end of this game showed a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Yes, it was Jacoby Brissett. It wasn't Tua Tagovailoa. I got to tell you, the Raiders actually may be for real this year. They may actually be for real for once.
I mean, what's worrisome for me is that my Cowboys have to play them on Thanksgiving. But
And I will have a turkey leg in either hand watching the game.
all right, yeah, that you will. And the Dolphins start off the game dominantly. They had that early pick six, and they had a 14-2 lead. Yeah, not 14-3, 14-2 at the end of the first quarter. But then at halftime, after they got shut out in the second quarter with the Raiders scoring 10 points, and basically, the fourth quarter is when the game just got so interesting. But what I have to stress to you, Ricky, is that overtime, a total of 9 points were scored in overtime because they were with field goals. So I think that's part of the reason why it's freaking game of the week, because this game took forever. But you know what? So be it. If it's a good game, so be it.
I will say this. Yes, I have questions on the first drive. Raiders going for it on 4th and 1 early. That, my friend, is not a great pick. Chucky made a bad decision on that one. I'll be honest with you. My issue is again the 2 points that were scored that started the potential comeback for the Raiders. Why are you throwing a pass to the flat in the end zone? You want that ball upfield. You potentially had switched all of the momentum of the game, being up 14 to the Raiders by giving up that sack. And what's up to one of my other co-hosts is in here, Meesy. Share it out, Mies. I know you're still working, but if you can, share it out. I'm going to say this, okay? I understand Tua not being the quarterback for the Dolphins. Yeah, okay. The Dolphins' run game is in trouble, A. B, I think some of their play calling, not the greatest. The Raiders right now, legit, have their money on the table. They are making bets that they hope that they can cash out on. And a little
Vegas.
bit of it's a Vegas pun.
It's a Vegas thing, yeah.
But I'm going to tell you this. The Raiders right now potentially offensively are I'm going to say top 15. In my opinion. The numbers may not actually be there for the Vegas Raiders, but they are showing a lot of guts. Again, I don't agree with the 4th and 1 situation. I want to punt the ball away. But, again, Raiders showed a lot of guts being down 14. They were only down 2 at half. And then potentially put the run game back on the shelf. And, yes, there was no Josh Jacobs in this game. But they had a former Cowboy and Buccaneer in there. And I believe he did pick up the load. And you know who I'm talking about.
Wasn't sure if that's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, it was Peyton Barber, by the way.
Yeah.
He did pick up the load for them. So, again, great game. It was good. Don't worry, we're moving on. Sorry, we have to do some analysis on everything.
And I think it's actually, Peyton Barber is a former Buck and Washington. He was not with the Cowboys.
And the next game I believe everybody wanted us to talk about would be Seattle going up north to Minnesota. Brock Lesnar country.
I'd rather say Jesse the Body Ventura country.
Well, him and I can't remember his name. Shelton Benjamin went to University of Minnesota.
They were roommates, and Minnesota is a wrestling state.
Minnesota Vikings 30-17. Both teams are now 1-2. And before we go into any analysis of this game, because the Minnesota Vikings actually did look really good. Not throwing any shade on Kirk Cousins. Are the Seattle Seahawks in trouble now, falling behind the way they have in a 4-team stacked division?
I would say yeah, they are, because didn't the Seahawks have a 17-6 lead at one point in this game?
Yes, they did.
So that's 2 consecutive weeks with these big leads. I mean, an 11-point lead, I know it's not that big, but when you have that 11-point lead in Seattle doesn't really blow leads. Okay, but now back-to-back weeks of just disappointing games, and and how far they are. I mean, let's be honest. Seattle's defense. I mean, the days of Legion of Boom they're long gone. I mean, the Legion of Boom era, yeah, it's dead and buried forever.
I'm
But
sorry. I'm sorry, Seattle Seahawks fans. It's not the Legion of Boom. It's the Legion of Poof.
But anyway, look, and the fact that in the second half the Seahawks were shut out, and the Vikings, scored only 9 points. So that's also pretty disappointing. The fact they couldn't put any points on the board in the second half. I mean, that's extremely disappointing. So I believe if my math is correct, the Vikings scored 24 unanswered points. So that's pretty concerning. That's embarrassing too.
It's actually 20, 23 unanswered.
What? Okay.
All I could say is this, okay? Some reason, I don't understand why Seattle has been dumping defensive players. I can understand it. Salary caps, etc. so far. I think the key piece of them right now that they lost was KJ Wright going to the Raiders. That was a huge, huge, huge hole that they're going to have trouble filling in. I believe at some point Seattle is going to be active at the trade deadline, which I believe is week 7 or week 6. Is week 7 for the NFL trade deadline?
Yeah.
Okay. They are going to be, if they are not active at the trade deadline, the Seahawks are going to be in trouble. I believe offensively right now, I believe that they're okay. Minnesota's defense for once actually stepped up.
Just after week 8, actually. It's going to be November 2nd at 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Even better. So it gives them now 5 weeks to start either A, raiding the garbage pile or potentially making phone calls. If Seattle doesn't fix the leaky defense, especially in their secondary, they are going to have problems. They are.
I mean, they already have problems, but it's only going to get worse. But you're right.
Okay, so at this point, again, we can't throw any shade to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 38 times, missed 8 passes, threw the ball for 323 yards and 3 scores. He legit overmatched Russell Wilson. Okay? Yes, there was no Dalvin Cook. However, a viable backup for this week until Cook's ankle, I believe, is better. Alexander Madison, 26 carries, a $112. He did not reach the land of gold. But at this point right now, again, you can't blame Kirk Cousins.
You can't. I mean, how many times have I had to say? I mean, look, whether you like Kirk Cousins or not, the dude can throw. The dude's got an arm.
Yeah, and the only thing is that he really doesn't perform in prime time. Yeah. And they are, again, Andrew Mercado, thanks for the comment, bro. You could protest that as much as you like. Kirk Cousins is not going to get a higher rating than that. The Vikings potentially probably should maybe be 3-0. They possibly should be 3-0. They were an extra point away from tying the game last week going to OT. So you could probably make that. And again, like the beginning of the year, Minnesota wasn't potentially picked high in a lot of leagues to progress and go ahead, but maybe this is their kick in their pants. They're going up against one of the tougher NFC West teams, so who knows?
I mean, you're right. Vikings honestly should be 3-0. They should.
All right. Darnell's not here, but we're going to quickly go over this one here, and I'll just shout out the main cog of this whole. Rams 34, Tampa 24. Rams moved to 3-0. Tampa 2-1. Tampa obviously is reuniting Brady and Belichick for one night only on Sunday Night Football. Rams have a very, very tough game coming up this week, I believe, as well. And the news, as we talk about the game, free agent cornerback Richard Sherman visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And here's the reason why. Alex, what is wrong with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Defensive struggles.
Jason, I totally agree on that. Upset of the week. Defensively, the Buccaneers, they have lost their way. This is the problem, okay? Yes, you have a team that puts up points. That's all fine and good. That's how that works. However, again, defense. Defense wins games. They are giving up a lot of points. This is not the Tampa defense that we've seen for seasons. It was not the Tampa Bay defense of last year. That legit put a clamp on everything. Can we possibly say maybe JPP, the walking Q-tip, is part of this problem? I don't think so. That secondary is garbage. Garbage. Okay? And let's go down the list of how many points that they've sold. I don't remember what it was last week. Because they played the Falcons. I think they gave up 25 to the Falcons.
Yeah.
How many points did they give up to the Cowboys opening night?
It was 29 points, I believe.
Okay. And now they've given up 34 points.
Yeah, it was 29 points, yeah.
So they are averaging about 27 points a game on just a roundabout number.
I believe so. Keep in mind, Ricky, I am terrible at math.
I'm doing.
Don't trust me with math.
I will say this: I am doing this without a calculator. Okay, it is a guesstimation.
Well, in that case, your guess is as good as mine.
Tampa's going to be in trouble if their defense keeps playing this way, because then you're going to be relying on Tom. You're going to be relying on Gronk. Offensively, every game is going to be a shootout. That's pretty much what you're going to say for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay.
Speaking of Gronk, I believe he got hurt, but he did come back in. But
he had a rib injury, which they marked him as questionable. He did come in for a few more plays after that. But again, also now everybody up in arms. Oh my God, Antonio Brown's out for the worldwide bastard list. I don't really think it made a difference. Rams defense showed up. They put Brady on his ass a few times. Again, it's early in the season. I will say those famous letters. DTA, don't trust anybody. Week 4 is coming. I think a lot of teams are going to start to turn it around. And if you are a Buccaneers fan, you hope that the defense turns it around at this point. Because if they don't within the next few weeks, and they have, I believe, some division games coming up against Carolina. I believe they have the Saints coming up. Listen, I don't think Tampa wants to be sitting there playing run and gun and shootouts every week. Defense has got to step up. That's what I got to say.
And as far as Richard Sherman goes, they just worked him out. Have they started negotiating for a contract yet?
He did visit. There is no other news outside of that.
I mean, if they sign Richard Sherman, honestly, I don't know if that's even going to be much help, because let's keep in mind, Richard Sherman is 33.
I will honestly say this: if Sherman goes there, he's going there for a ring. However, I believe Sherman is going to fit bad analysis on this one because it happened. I believe he's pulling a Darrelle Revis.
Maybe. It wasn't long ago that Cowboy fans were calling for Sherman for the Cowboys to give Sherman a call.
Listen, again, you said he was 33?
Yeah.
Okay, when he was in San Francisco last, he was getting his ass torn up.
Yeah.
I don't see Richard Sherman fitting anywhere currently right now. Okay? 33, you're kind of on the back end of your prime. Does he have a lot left in the tank? Again, the comparison is going to be to Darrelle Revis. He's going to sign on a team. He's probably going to get torn up. And then what's going to happen at the end of the year? The same thing that Darrelle Revis did. He retired. Done. End discussion. He's either going to get retired or released halfway down the line. And Tampa fans are going to be like, well, why did we waste our time? That's the way I kind of look at the whole Richard Sherman thing. Because if a team really looked at him right now, he would not be getting signed as a free agent. He would have been signed to a team already. He would have been starting through week 1.
Probably.
That's the way you look at it. It's just life. Sunday Night Football, a team that tortured me. Big Jason Gaming, I'm telling you right now, I took your team on the ESPN pick'em, and they royally made me cry. They made me cry. Green Bay, 28. Green Bay 30. San Francisco 28. Green Bay goes to 2-1. San Francisco 2-1. They are San Francisco is second now, I believe, in the division in the NFC West. Basically, the story of this game, San Francisco did not give or take enough time away from Aaron Rodgers. Plain and simple. I will say I give Jimmy G and the boys from the San Francisco Treats enough credit that they came back in this game and made it that tight and took the 1-point lead. I had a lot of my friends asking me, hey, why did San Francisco not go for a 2-point conversion instead of the field goal, the extra point? Guess what? It would not have made a difference. It still would have been a Green Bay win on a field goal. Bearman, your analysis.
Well, when you give Aaron Rodgers all the time in the world, especially for him to come up with to lead the team down the field, man, he's gonna take it. I can't stress this one enough, but when Green Bay jumped to that early lead, I was like, man, this game's is going nowhere near to anywhere I could have anticipated, and at the end, man, Aaron Rodgers just did what Aaron Rodgers does. That I don't know what else to say.
Now, I may not be an NFL coach, but I'm going to scream out to all of my Madden friends, especially Jason. Okay? 37 seconds, you're playing in the game. Okay? You have potentially the same scenario as the game on Sunday night. Now, somebody please explain to me why you have linebackers out on the field against Aaron Rodgers, who has to go 55 yards potentially for a game-winning field goal. Why? Why? Do you have linebackers out playing center field in the middle of a drive? I believe there is a play in the quarter playbook where it is one down lineman, two linebackers rushing the quarterback, and the rest of the field is all safeties. But the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers throws linebackers to play the middle of the field during the game. Old Yeller should be taken out back and shot. Because there is no way in hell, as a defensive coordinator, I am sending linebackers out to cover, in zone coverage, mind you, on a play like that. This is what I will say about the 49ers, okay? This should have been the actual defensive layout. Bearman, I'm gonna lay this out, okay? This is a custom analysis done by the Prez.
Go ahead.
You have safeties playing in zone, but you should have your cover corners still shadowing the receivers as they are out in routes. There should not be linebacker one anywhere 10 yards or further back than the line of scrimmage. Even if you really wanted to, there is a play in the Madden playbook where you only rush one guy. You have 10 guys in coverage. Why? It's Aaron Rodgers who has the potential to throw the ball down the field 50 damn yards, but yet we're going to leave linebackers out there. Am I wrong by saying this? Because this just does not feel kosher with me, knowing the fact that you just had linebackers play in the middle of the field.
No, you were not wrong.
This is why the 49ers lost. Common sense. Common sense, how you should be playing your defense. And I have a grill, but again, because it's a video game, maybe it doesn't transfer to real life. I don't know, but that's how I'd be playing it.
In a video game, there's something in the video game Madden. There's something called Ask Madden. Huh.
Yeah, ask me because I've been playing Madden since the beginning of time. Before
Yeah.
I had gray hair.
Yeah, so might as well. There should be Ask Madden, Ask Ricky Litwinkowich.
Yes, because I am the guru of defense. All right. Here comes my burial.
Oh boy. Well, I deserve it.
All right, because we have one game and we have one pick. Jerry World hosting the Philadelphia Cheesesteaks. Oh, I'm sorry, the Philadelphia Eagles. Cowboys win 41-21. Cowboys leading the NFC East at 2-1. Eagles now 1-2. Mr. Bearman, how would you like your beating? Would you like it medium rare, medium, or well done?
Well, first of all, I don't know what you got to beat me on. I picked the Cowboys, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But I didn't have all the faith in the world. I still
That's
buried them.
why
even though
you're
I picked
getting.
them,
That's why you're getting your beating.
because I still buried them.
You still bury them, and I'm gonna make a confession. Making a confession before you get your little tiny beating.
Is it
Okay.
tough love?
Yes. Because I'm going to say this. As much as Cowboy fans can be arrogant, and they can be superly dumb.
Well, keep in mind, I'm not like Cowboys Nation. So at least you got to remind the world of that.
I understand that. But I'm talking about the general population in the jail of Jerry World.
Yes.
Okay? Cowboys fans do not have as much faith in their team as I do. I have said this even since the preseason that the Cowboys and Dak Prescott have something to prove. He has something to prove. He has shown the NFL in the first 3 weeks against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay? Who did the Cowboys play last week there, Bearman?
The LA Chargers.
The LA Chargers. Okay?
And I did pick the Chargers. I'm not going to deny it.
Okay? Now they put it to Philly. Granted, we're looking at teams now at 500 records or better. Okay? Total. Okay? Philly's now 1-2. Chargers, I believe, are 2-1. Okay? And Tampa is 2-1. That's a 6-6 record, my friend. Or 5-5 record, something like that. Okay? Cowboys offense, no joke right now. That combo of Zeke and Pollard is good.
It's good. That's what I said in the on my show. Keys Victory, run the ball.
And that offensive line is starting to come back to prominence.
Mm-hmm.
That defense showed up. And they're getting 2 players back, which obviously leaves a question of where Micah Parsons is going to be playing. But again, that defense came up and played last night. Jalen Hurts, that, again, is my question mark. And I'm surprised that they did not sit Mr. Hurts, for a hemorrhoid or something, and gotten Gardner Minshew in there to make this game a little bit more competitive. But I will tell you this. Philly is in trouble, but Dallas has a ceiling to break.
They do. Now, I guess that's the thing because I didn't bury them to extremely good. I kind of buried the defense because the defense is still a bit problematic, but they did show up. I'm eating my words, and I'm glad I am. And I'm glad you're making me eat my words, Ricky. I really am. The problem is that particular play on Philadelphia's last drive or last scoring play. That's what I'm still having a problem with. Like, they kind of gave up, but you know what? It didn't matter because they were up by that much. But you should never give your opponent a free pass, even if it's the fucking Eagles. Sorry, guys. I just hate the Eagles.
But here's the thing. This is where I got to tell Cowboys fans to pump the brakes. Okay? Because the one thing that happened last night during that game, I was afraid of it happening. Micah Parsons got banged up on a play. And I freaking thank the coach for pulling him out for the rest of the game. Here's why. You're going to give up a crap score, okay? You were up 41-14. you are in cruise mode. There is no reason for a starter to still be in the game to get hurt. Unless you know in crunch time that miraculously on offense you have a turnover and then it becomes a 2-score game, then I'm saying maybe I'm bringing the guy back in. McCarthy was smart. He took Parsons out of the game last night. You put your secondary crew in, let them get some game reps, save your starters. You win in the game by 20. Smart move on that point.
Very smart.
And again, you get guys a blow. Really, you get them a blow. Because, again, it is only week 3. And at this point right now, the Dallas Cowboys have the advantage of now potentially running away with the NFC East. Okay? Philly has a lot of issues. I said that from day one. I didn't really pick them high in this division anyway. In fact, I believe I picked the Philadelphia Eagles 3rd to finish for this year. Because I had more faith in Dallas and more faith in Washington than I did in Philly and the Giants. Sorry.
And speaking of Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, this dude, absolutely incredible. That pick 6 that was where you texted me. That's where you texted. That's where the tough luck began, right, Ricky?
Oh,
when you texted me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you bet your ass it was.
Yeah, hey, folks, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna be I'm not that arrogant enough, to say, oh, they got lucky. No, I was wrong. But I'm telling you, Trayvon Diggs, 3 interceptions in the first 3 games. I believe that's his 7th in his career. And everybody's asking me, Alex, are you impressed how mature and how hardworking Trayvon Diggs is? I say, no, I'm not surprised. You know why? He played at the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. Of course, you play under that in that program. Well, no shit, you're gonna be a tough, a very mature guy, hardworking. But and speaking of Micah Parsons, that injury, you saw it, didn't you?
Yes,
you saw
I did.
That.
Yes,
I
did.
That was a cheap shot by an Eagles player.
But you know what, though? Again, Mike McCarthy was smart. He took him out.
Mm-hmm.
He does not risk any further injury whatsoever. And you get some freaking 2nd, 3rd string guys in there for snaps. I don't argue with that. I totally agree with taking him out and letting him do it.
And Parsons is okay. There's been nothing reported today. I'm guessing he just had the air knocked out of him, but still, you took him out.
It's still probably one of the best
That was the only way for Parsons to be taking out a cheap shot in the freaking stomach.
All right, so we have recapped week 3. We're gonna tie this one into a big bow in a few seconds. Thursday night football. 0-3 Jacksonville. Going to the jungle. Cincinnati. Jaguars. Bengals. Thursday night football. Jags still 0-3. Bengals coming in off that win over the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. They're 2-1. Now, I don't have win probabilities. And I don't have the cover probabilities. Those won't be till Friday after the game's over. We do have the Cincinnati Bengals, home favorite by 8 points. Game is a 46 under-over. Oh, this is I want to say that this is a trap game. I really, really want to say this is a trap game. So, people, if you do go to put bets in with Cincinnati favored by 8, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Again, as much as I have a lot of faith in Cincinnati, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit by saying that. But I'm going to go with Bearman first. Bearman, where do you see this game going?
Well, because it's in Cincinnati, obviously the Bengals have home field advantage. Now, Cincinnati's coming off a big win over Pittsburgh. Beating Pittsburgh on the road, if you're Cincinnati, that's something huge. And in Cincinnati's case, they got to build on it. And I hope they do. So coming in this game, I really hope that the Bengals come in more focused. And they shouldn't take the Jaguars. They shouldn't take them lightly, I should say, because even though Jacksonville is obviously terrible, but no doubt, Cincinnati wins. I could see Joe Burrow really having a fantastic game.
Alex, what are those 3 letters that I always keep saying?
DTA.
Exactly my point. We've seen Joe Burrow play 2 good games. He crapped the bed against the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Your point right there. Don't trust anyone.
Okay? If I'm going to look at this game right now, and I've seen Jacksonville kind of stand up a little bit to the Arizona Cardinals. They stood up a little bit against the 1-2 Titans. Not Titans, Texans. I'm sorry. Week 1. And then just get shellacked by Denver last week. Yeah, I'm a little freaked out about Thursday night football. So if I'm going bet-wise, okay, I'm taking the Bengals, okay? And since I've been betting the lines and I have been on the money pretty much with the majority of these, I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars +8. And I'm going the over 46. That's where I'm laying it on the pillow right there. So I have Bengals winning, Jacksonville +8, and the over. And that's how we are picking Thursday night football for this week. And Darnell has screamed out, "I'm picking Cincy, and I'm shutting up." That's exactly what he said on Saturday.
Yep, that is. Yep, I can confirm, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so that is it for this episode of ArchRivals Football Season 3, Week 3 in the books. Week 4 started. Josh Gordon signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. Richard Sherman visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right before they go to Foxborough. And a lot of the injuries throughout the NFL this week. Giants losing a lot of players. Denver losing a key wide receiver. It could be a crazy week. But we have a big weekend coming up. Alex, give everybody the social.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to find me on Twitter, you can at Bearman of Texas, just TX. No need to spell it out. You can follow me. The DM's open. If y'all are interested in subscribing to my shows, I have Cowboys Talk, which is the Dallas Cowboys show. If you like hearing somebody bury the Cowboys, well, then my show's the show for you. If you're a soccer fan, my show, NFC, is the best soccer show on the planet, so I strongly suggest subscribing to that. And if you're ever interested in being on my show, just you can DM me. We can set it up, folks.
Alrighty, so we want to thank our sponsors, DreamControllers.com, RepSports.com, RazEnergy.com, and we also have, I believe that's Steiner Sports. That's right. I keep forgetting. Modern Producers is just not on this show. But Steiner Sports, if you need any, and I mean any, sports memorabilia, do not hesitate to get in contact with us. We will get you some really great sports merchandise for you that covers every sport, NFL, NBA, MLB, including some soccer. I know we have soccer memorabilia as well. So come and check us out for that. Tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be on the radio. That should be more fun. Spreaker.com, Pipe Bomb Radio NYC. And then a 3-hour special. Pipe Bomb is hosting International Podcast Day. Myself, Melissa Mitro, Misi Gonzalez, Lynn Brunet, The Bearman, and more. 3 hours on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. This show will be back on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe that's the beginning of October. And if you guys haven't checked it out yet, we also have a page on Podpage /ArchRivals Season 3. Check out all of the newest episodes and some of our oldest episodes if you need to keep yourself occupied. Till then, we will catch you guys next time on Saturday for ArchRivals Football. And we're out of here.
Hey, did you like that show? Like, share, follow, subscribe. Share out our shows to all of your social media. Need merchandise? Check out PainTrainPipeBomb.threadless.com for quality merchandise at great prices. Tune in next time for another edition of Arch Rivals Football, and we'll catch you on the flip side.